I just recorded this entire video without turning on my mic. So here is take two. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. I'm Jamil, this is a boy named Jamil, and thank you for being here. This is a video that I was not planning to make because I believe that my audience is an audience that wants to know what the best gear is for value and budget. And the 35mm by Sigma, the 35mm 1.2 by Sigma does not fit into that category. And so I couldn't, in my right mind, come on here and say that a $1,500 lens fits into either of those two categories. Well, that's not true. I do believe that there's value in this lens, but it's not a budget lens at all. And I don't think that anyone should go out and buy this lens if you are not a working professional. So what I do find value in is I think that this video, making this video will give you guys some information about a couple things that have happened, and then I will tell you why I bought the 35mm 1.2, and then at the end of this video, I will let you guys know what 35mm I think you should go out and buy if you're looking for a budget option. So right away, the two things that have happened recently that makes me think that those budget option 35mm are going to go down in price is, one, Sony has released the 35mm 1.4 G Master lens, and by all accounts that is the perfect lens if you ask Gerald Undone and Jared Polin and Julia Trotti. The second thing that is happening is Sigma is releasing a new 35mm 1.4 art lens that they've built from the ground up for Sony. A lot of you guys might find that confusing because Sigma already has a 1.4 art lens, but that is a very old lens that they had before that they just put an MC11 adapter on and just adapt it for the Sony E-mount system. Enter the Sigma 35mm 1.2 and why I bought it. First, let's talk about the build quality of this lens. So if you know anything about Sigma art lenses, you know that the build quality of them are very premium. And so right off the bat, you can see that there is an enormous amount of glass right there at the front of this lens. This is an 82mm filter thread, so very huge front element. And then, like all Sigma lenses, you do have a autofocus and manual focusing switch right here on the camera. You do have a focus hold button that can be programmed as a custom button to do anything that you want it to do for the camera. And then you have a switch that clicks and declicks the aperture ring that is on the camera. And so all of that makes this lens feel very premium. So this lens comes in weighing at a massive 2 pounds, and there is no way to over or understate this. It is a heavy lens. You guys have heard me talk about the size of my hands on this channel before, and I am not a small guy, and even when I am out shooting with this thing, it becomes noticeably heavy. If you are a wedding shooter, I do not recommend. And so it is a huge, huge lens. But thankfully, that is the one drawback to this lens, aside from the $1,500 price tag. And so really quickly, I want to tell you guys the 3 reasons why I decided to buy this lens. The first reason is because it is a 1.2. This 35mm by Sigma is the only 35mm 1.2 on the market for any of the major camera manufacturers. Canon doesn't have a 35mm 1.2, and neither does Nikon, and neither does Pentax or Fuji. This is the only 35mm 1.2 on the market, and so that was really enticing to me. And then, as you guys have heard me say a number of times on this channel, I really like to do a lot of my shooting at night. I really like to make photos at night. I really like to make video at night, and just having those extra stops of light at 1.2 becomes really important to me when I'm, out doing that. And so that is the biggest reason that I went out and bought this Sigma 35mm 1.2. The second reason that I bought it is because I really wanted to future-proof myself when it comes to a 35mm lens. As I sit here right now today, I am more than happy with the quality of photos that this lens produces. I'll start throwing up some sample photos now. I am really happy with how this lens performs, and I am really happy with how sharp this lens is wide open at 1.2. But I can't say with 100% certainty that someday down the road, I won't want the G Master. And so with this lens being $1,500, if I wanted to, sell this lens or, hold on to some resale value, I do believe that I could get $1,100 or $1,200 for this lens. And with the price of the G Master being $1,400, it goes a long way for being able to make that switch less painful. The second way that I thought that I am future-proofing myself with this lens is because it performs really, really well with my A7R4 as far as autofocusing and just the speed of the camera. And if you're wondering how fast the autofocusing system is on the R4, it has the same autofocusing system as the A9, and I think also the A9 too. And if you know anything about those cameras, those are blazing fast cameras. And then it's just a hair slower than the newer cameras, the A1 and the A7S III. And so it really does a good job with keeping up with this camera. And if I decide at some point in the future that I wanted to upgrade to an A1 or upgrade to an A9 II, I believe that this lens is going to be able to keep up with those cameras and perform just as well as any of the newer Sony native lenses. And then the third reason that I bought this lens is because I found it for $250 off. If you guys have been watching these videos that I make, you know that I am a huge proponent in going out and buying used gear, especially when it comes to lenses. Lenses are built really well and they don't lose any of their performance, or I really wanted to get shooting with 35mm as quickly as possible, and I was willing to wait on the G Master. But what happened, if you guys don't know, back in March, there was some manufacturing issues and they had to delay the release of the lens, and then I didn't pre-order it, and so I would have had to wait until all of the pre-orders got out. I think Julia Trotti just got hers this week, and so I really wanted to be able to spend the time shooting at 35mm. And so I have been shooting with this lens for about a month now, and I am more than satisfied with the performance and both the photo quality and video quality. If you guys aren't following me, follow me on Instagram at @aboynamed_Jamil_, and then let me know what you guys think. So I said that I would talk about the lens that I think that you guys should go out and buy that is a more budget option when compared to this. And that is the Sony 35mm 1.8. It's not a cheap lens. I don't know that $900 is affordable, but as far as performance and photo quality, I believe that that lens meets both of those and performs well and produces amazing quality photos. The reason that I don't recommend the Sigma 1.4, the old Sigma 1.4, is because it is an adapted lens, and although it did produce some good photos, I did find some performance issues with that lens. It did perform really slow with the A7R4. I can only speak with the A7R4. And then the Rokinon lens, which I owned, the Rokinon 35mm 1.4, though it did produce some good photos, the performance of that lens is, and I really hate to say this about anything, but the performance really is trash. And so I do not recommend that lens at all. And so that's my recommendation. that is the reason why I bought this 1.2. And that is going to conclude this video. Real quick, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, I hope that you would take this time to just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you found some value in it. And if you guys have any questions that you'd like for me to answer, please leave them in the comment section below. Also, I recently bought a Atomos Ninja 5 that I'm using now as a recorder and a monitor. If you guys are interested in knowing why I did that, or if you want to know how I'm going to use it, also leave those comments down in the comment section. And then I am also working right now on a very detailed review of the A7 III and letting you guys know if I think that you guys should still buy this camera in 2021. Spoiler alert, I do. I think if you can get it, you should buy it. And so all of those videos are coming very soon. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Again, I am Jamil. This is a boy named Jamil, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.